One and a two and a
And with that super rad custom intro, we're into another brand new live stream right here on Long Box Punk. That's me. I'm Chris, and I'm the Punk, and I'm joined by Big Al, my friend Alex M. Clark. Welcome to your first official solo stream on the show, man.
Well, thank you for having me. And that seems crazy that this is the first one we've done solo after all this time, after all these years.
After all these years, so many years that we met at Space. See, I'm fully prepared today.
Yeah.
In Space. Met at Space last year in Columbus, Ohio. We tabled next to each other at Space this year in Columbus, Ohio. Are you doing the November show as well?
Yeah. Space 2.0, Space Dose. I don't know what they're calling it, but yeah, I will be there. I've already signed up and prepared.
Nice.
Yeah, let's do it.
I will not be there as a vendor, but I'll still come.
That's cool.
Likely, I think. But yeah, with November, December, it's just always chaos for me. And I was like, I don't want to add a con to the middle of that. So
right. So
yeah.
Yep.
But at the first Space, we met actually because Greg, the bearded comic bro, was like, oh yeah, Alex and I go way back. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm going to his table next. I remember that last night right before I fell asleep. Yeah.
I like how you're thinking of me right before you fall asleep.
Right before I fell asleep. Yeah. Head was already on the pillow. I was all nestled into my bed and I was like, talking to Alex tomorrow. I met him because Greg told me about him. Wait a second. That's how that went. And then I had nightmares. I'm kidding.
Fair.
But we immediately hit it off because you're making fun comics like Lost in the Shuffle, as is this pinup and sticker sheets.
Oh,
I have all the props.
Yeah, you do.
Here's the issue 1.
I have issue 1.
Oh, it's blurred out. Yours is an NSFW version, and your X-Men art on your business card.
Oh my gosh.
Because you do X-Men arts. And then issue 2. Ooh. Why are they getting dragged into this barn?
We're in the heartland.
So good. I read these actually just like 2-3 weeks ago, just for funsies.
Okay. Yeah.
Should have done it closer to this stream so that it was fresher than it is.
Right, like, I don't remember what happens. That's okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
Whatever.
That's why I ask, what's your comic about? Because I don't remember.
Oh, is that why we're here?
Yeah, that's why I ask. I just don't know anything. So, but before we dive deeply into why there's a compass on the cover of your comics, which I just noticed, how'd you get into comics? What's your origin story?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, comic books themselves as an entity, as a lifestyle, as a geekdom, that came on very early as a child. My parents, they were like, you're not getting anything in life. So we went to a garage sale and there was like a box of comics, just stacks of, nothing in bags, nothing in boards, just never like grab a couple. So I grabbed the Batman and I grabbed an Incredible Hulk and that was it.
Nice.
That was it. So I've been drawing since I was pretty little. My parents still to this day have like all drawings that I did when I was in 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade, all the way up through whatever. And then, you go to school for art and I wanted to go in for illustration, but I was like, ooh, can I make money doing illustration? Probably not, but graphic design, yes. But my senior thesis was actually like a mini comic book. So like I've been either reading comics, drawing, something, whether it's Star Wars, Batman, Daredevil, Incredible Hulk, for 1,000 years. And then at some point in time when my kids got old enough where I wasn't like watching them constantly to make sure they didn't like impale themselves on like the coffee table, I was like, well, what do I do with my spare time? And so I started drawing. I did children's books for a while, but then strangely enough, the local library here in Ohio was doing this like really one-off comic fest, and like nobody showed up. And I was there, and this nice lady who's sitting next to me, we struck up a conversation just like we all do at Comic Cons, and turns out that she has her own small little label, and she was like, you want to do a little anthology story? And I was like, sure. And then she brought me back for like 3 or 4 more, and I was like, you know what, why am I letting people write their stories for me to illustrate when I could just make my own?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why not do it myself?
Right. Right.
Perfect time also to drop. Hi, Kay. What's wild is we're all 3 going to be together next weekend.
Physically, not just in spirit.
Physically, Dayton Convention Center.
Nice.
5-Star Comic-Con, Saturday and Sunday. Tickets still available. Single days as low as I think $12 for Sunday, and $15 for Saturday, $22.50 because we slashed all the prices in half because they were like, hey, everything's expensive. Why should nerding out be expensive too?
Right.
And they cut the tickets in half. So you get a VIP ticket pass both days, early access, swag bag, which is full of a ton of stuff. What else? Priority seating, I think.
Ooh.
And a fancy VIP badge that you can.
Ooh. Fancy.
Excuse me.
Show it to all the bouncers at all the
bouncers that are going to be there. Yeah. They're $55 for VIP for the whole weekend. So, I'm just saying, 5starcomiccon.com.
Right. Check it out.
See, if I was really on it, I would have produced a QR code that I could pop up on the screen, but I didn't do that. I got to use these flyers. Sorry, Tony. I still have some of these. But yeah, we're all going to be there. It's going to be great. We're all going to be on a panel together.
Ooh.
Specifically,
you haven't told me what the panel is. You're just like, you're on a panel. I was like, oh, okay, cool, great.
Great, yeah, sure. Actually, you're on 2.
Ooh.
The one is the sketch duel that I asked you about.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited for. You versus Fish Lee.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, good luck, bro. Fastest man in comics.
Right. Great.
The other one is we're doing an all like AHA anthologies in comics panel, and it's you, it's me, it's K, and it's V. So it's all of the letters and me. So yeah, the full panel schedule is also at 5starcomiccon.com. It's just a sales pitch. Everybody got rope-a-doped into, you're just going to hear about the con for the next hour.
Right, we're all going to be there.
We're all going to be there. You can meet us and pick up books that we've created independently of each other and with each other, like the AHA anthology that we did a story together on. That naturally flowed. We'll get into Lost in the Shuffle, I promise. We did a comic together.
Good. I don't know if I can turn off these silly blurs so we can actually like. First of all, you can like terrible basement, but yeah, we did a little something together with a bunch of like really cool artwork.
Yeah,
somebody wrote a really cool story. And we got some artwork.
Dashing, handsome gentleman did all the artwork for it.
Witchy woman. Yeah, I'm gonna have these at the con. So if anybody is interested, they can get an actual piece of artwork. If you are interested. So yeah, cool.
And we should have the books in hand. They're scheduled to deliver here at my house on the 18th.
Ooh.
So I'm hoping it's like early in the day so that when I get home from work, they're sitting in my living room.
Yeah.
And then I'm immediately going to start. I'm spending all night Thursday packing every order.
Oh, wow.
so that I can drop them all off at the post office Friday morning before I drive to the convention center to help set everything up. And then I drive to the airport to pick up a couple people and drive them back to their hotels in Dayton. And so I want to be able to get the books out so that I don't feel bad about also like having y'all's copies at the table so you can sell some on the weekend. Because I want to get the backers out first. And we'll be releasing digital copies to everybody,
Right.
Once I drop everything at, probably Friday morning. So all of that's happening. But I know that we had talked about, I think I was feeling brazen or buzzed or whatever on some random Wednesday night. And I was like, well, why aren't we making comics? And you were like, I don't know.
Right.
Why aren't we making comics? So, like, what, a week later was when I think Chris and I had firmly gotten the like, hey, let's just make our own horror anthology. And I need to talk to Alex. And so I reached out, but I want to know from your side. I clearly know my side, and I've talked about it almost ad nauseum here and on my Box Talks and Substack. But like, what's from your side of it? How did that come together? What was the feeling? I've never been able to almost objectively ask feedback and to hear about.
Right? Like, not to put on the spot, but like, what'd you think of the story that I wrote?
But like,
right?
Was it just the most fun you've ever had making a comic?
I think you have some really kooky ideas, and I love a kooky idea where it's a little bit different and new and special. And when we were talking about like fairy creatures and mythical creatures, and then it was like witches, and then it got to trolls, and then it was like, oh, okay. And then you took your spin of like, let's have them in the woods. Okay, and like, let's have friends, but then one of them's diabolical, but you don't know that yet, but he's the one that's actually going to make it's a whole thing. I don't want to like spoil everything, but like I thought the story was really good. It was really interesting. It had a very cabin in the woods meets, like 80s movies, like people camping out and like everything goes horribly wrong, and then murders and death and dismemberment. So no, I thought it was great. I thought, because you're always trying to picture this. Like when you're reading the script, you're like, okay, that guy's getting his head chewed off by a 15-foot troll. And then we were talking about like weird European fiction. And I was like, what if he was in like a lederhosen? And you were like, yes. Why? And it's like, oh, okay, it's a hag. It's not a witch. Okay. It was just like you start picturing everything in your mind and you start putting it together, and then you start sketching things out, and then, yada, yada, yada. So I think it was really great. The story's fantastic. And then just like collaborating where it's like, what if we did this? What if we did that? And of course, I'm asking lots of questions because I'm a curious fellow. And I'm like, okay, what's the young lady look like? And you're like, so I'm into wrestling. And
this is 100% true.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool, great, all right, sweet.
Cool. Yeah. The whole reason I thought of the name, so I thought of Calvin first, and I was like, what name goes with Calvin? I don't want it to be like Susie or Annie or whatever. Like, what could go? And I didn't want to use. I try not to use names of people that I know, like personally.
Sure.
Because that just, I don't ever want to be like, oh yeah, I have a Stephanie in here, and I don't want Steph to reach out and be like, seriously, you put me in your comic and you did that? Like,
I was murdered? Like I was murdered?
And no, I swear it's not because it's not it's not any of that stuff. So I always try and think of names that are different. And I have no idea why I was like, oh yeah, Calvin and Indy. Yeah. Calvindi. That would be their like pop culture Calvindi name. Right. And I was like, well, that works. And I like that. And so when you were like, yeah, well, what does she look like though? And, I didn't think any of that.
Right. Because I'm like, you have to draw it. And that's what it's always interesting to me when I've drawn someone else's story, because they're like, okay, walk into a shop, I don't know, like a coffee shop or something, and they're sitting at a table, and you're like, oh no, I have to like the coffee shop. And you're like,
Yeah.
the cafe, is there coffee? Is it a barista? Like, is it a fancy one? Is it an old one? Is it a diner? Is it a this? And then you're like, are the windows or is it the and it's just like you have to think of all those random things because you need some kind of setting just to tee up like where they are. And there are a lot of panels in comic books, they just like put a gradient or a texture behind it, but you got to have some environmental thing to be like, oh, they're in the woods.
Yeah.
Just
Oh, so they're in the woods. Are they the great redwoods?
Right.
Or are they
trees, tall trees, deciduous trees, coniferous trees? Yeah, like what's the tree?
are there pine cones everywhere? Is it fall and everything's dead? Like, what are we?
Right.
And it's funny because I don't think of a lot of that usually when I'm writing. I'm just like, I don't know. I think of like the beats of the story and what I want to happen and who the characters are and what they're going through. The other stuff, sometimes it matters, but for my writing process, sometimes it doesn't. And I'm like, I don't know, let the artist figure it out. Like this.
And like we were talking about like, the Marvel way and everything else, like back in the day, it was like, okay, you have a script and then the people come back and then they rewrite the script based upon what they see and I do that myself to my own book, like I write it with what I have in my mind, and then I draw it, and then I go back and rewrite things based upon what I drew. But yeah, it's just crazy to think of like, oh yeah, I got to think about all this other stuff. But yeah, it has to look like there's a place and a purpose and a thing and a stuff. Like, yeah, it's weird.
So you mentioned the like gradients as backgrounds.
Yeah.
Is that, it feels like artists always have a very specific opinion on that. Like, where do you stand on the using gradients as backgrounds?
I think to me, it's more of an emotion thing. Like if you were to, because I've also done some storyboarding for some things in the past. So I'm always thinking about like, okay, if this were a movie, a TV show, what have you, and we're doing a punch in on somebody's face for emotion to show like they're crying, they're excited, they're surprised, they're shocked. You don't want to see like all the stuff in the background. Like more than likely, if you were to actually shoot this with a video camera, that would get blurred out or it would be like something off in the distance. So it's like more emotion of like, okay, here's what we're going to do. It's really about the people talking. And another thing that I've realized over the years is like, oh, if there's a crap ton of dialogue, there's literally no point in drawing everything in the scene because you're going to cover up 90% of it.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to leave space for, I mean, as my letterer Sean has told me in the past, he's like, bro, you did not leave me enough room here. And I'm like, sorry, I was like drawing all the little details. And he's like, I'm going to cover that shit up anyways. So like, who cares? I'm like, oh, cool. So, you kind of think like, okay, if this is like a old school X-Men from the 80s where Chris Claremont has this long exposition about something and like, somebody draws like a little stick figure of Wolverine in the corner because Chris Claremont needed a paragraph. Like if you're going to cover it up, then what's the point? But I do want to put something like a gradient, a texture, something that feels, I don't know, like there's something back there behind the word balloon. But yeah.
Okay. So it's more like a story element than it is just a literal like page filler.
Yeah. Yeah. And like same thing with when we were talking, to Vaughn with the lettering, it's like the lettering needs to work with it, and especially if there's sound effects, like the sound effects actually help influence the artwork and they help make the artwork look better. I mean, it's the same thing we always say is like you can have a crappy penciler but you have a really good inker, that art's going to look baller. If you have a good artist but not a very good inker, the coloring can save it. And same thing with lettering. Like the lettering, not just of the speech balloons, but also the actual sound effects, that can save a book too, where it just feels like you're in it.
Yeah.
So,
lettering is still, as much as I've like read about it and talked about it and just paid attention to it, it still feels like the like thing that as a writer, I just can't seem to like smash into my brain as I'm writing to then be thinking of like how it's going to fit. I'm just like, oh no, this needs to have know, giant alerts here because something is broken on the ship. And so I like, it has to be alerts all over the place, but it's in space. So like I want it to kind of fade out as it gets away from the ship.
Yeah.
But like, aside from that, because I just wrote that script on Friday. Aside from that,
Yeah.
like every other script, I'm just like, I don't know, it's gonna have a sound effect here. Like there's gonna be a crunch or a smush or a plop or something.
Something, right? Yeah.
But
and I think it helps, and it can sometimes be incorporated into the artwork, but sometimes it's literally just sound effects of like, okay, like there's bones crunching, there's fire crackling. It just makes it more immersive. I mean, it's a comic book, it's a visual medium, so you can't hear the sounds, but you can see them, and they fill up the space. So again, back to the whole like, yeah, that panel doesn't have anything in the background, but it's got a word balloon and a sound effect, and you can tell the emotion on the character. So you don't need a bunch of stuff in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think about these things? Has that developed over time as you've created more comics?
Yeah. It's, and I'm not young by any means, but like you're
so old. Holy shit.
I am pretty old, but you don't think about that stuff until somebody says it. And I think that's one of the things that, like, again, my letter to Sean at one point in time was like, do you want to like have the sound of like the birds cawing or a creak of that old rusty car door? And I was like, oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Like you think about booms and pals and explosions and things like that, but just those little touches, the little like, bink, just it helps. Or I was reading something the other day, and they literally made the speech balloons normal size, but then made the copy very small with all lowercase fonts to evoke that they're whispering. And I was just like, yes, I get it. Like they're whispering. It's smaller. They don't want to like be screaming and loud. So yeah, you don't really notice some of that stuff until you see it in somebody else's comic or somebody calls it out to yours, and you're like, oh yeah, I could have done that. Like, there's this one in the second one. There's one scene, and like Sean just crushed it because I told him what the sound effects I wanted, but then he actually just killed it and put the tractor going through the ball in the words. And I was like, the art was okay. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I'm only okay. Let's be honest here with my penciling and my lettering, or my penciling and my inking. But when you have somebody who then does something like that, it's just like, all right, shut up. Like he did this boom from the tractor like backfiring. It's like, oh, shut up. Like you just made it so cool. So
yeah, it's so I know we've talked about it. I don't have to reference, I guess, that we talk outside of the show.
Don't tell anybody.
It's a secret. How long have you been working with Sean?
I mean, we met at the ripe old age of 18 years old. So
like 50 years ago. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So working with Sean, I don't know how long I've been working with Sean. Now, goofing off with Sean, some of the pictures I think you've seen me post of me in college. Yeah. Sean's there at all times. And we actually started a band in college. So we've been working together, if you call like goofing off and being like best friends. Yeah, since 1988. Yeah. But when I was doing Lost in the Shuffle, because I was drawing, inking, and coloring the whole thing, I was like, this will never see the light of day if I don't get someone to help me out. And he was like, yeah, okay, cool.
Had he done lettering?
Well, we went to graphic design school together. So he was just like, yeah, I like comics. Like, we've always known that. That's one of the things. Like, he was literally in the dorm room next to me. So we instantly found out that we were both like the biggest dorks. So he was like, yeah, he kind of like did one of these, like, let me crack my knuckles and dust off some old design skills, and jumped in. And then he's like, do you mind if I just go with it? I was like, seriously, go to town, have fun.
Yeah. I feel like that can lead to the best creation when the creators like have that long standing or just like deep friendship, but then also just the like, just go, like, go, just go, have fun, whatever, go.
Yeah. I sadly heard not sadly, that's the worst thing I could have said, but like Tarantino, I saw a quote from him a couple of weeks ago, and it said something like, how are you so good at your craft? And he was like, I'm not. He said, I have a really good idea. And the director's job is to surround themselves with the best people they know, the best people they trust, and let them do their jobs. Your job as the director is to to bring your vision to life, but surround yourself with the most amazing people you possibly can and let them do their job. And you're not micromanaging, like cinematographer, do it, like that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's here's that shameless plug again. It's kind of like things have been at 5-star. We're like, as the program, I'm technically, I think, like the assistant program director or the assistant to the program.
They're just like crushing it every day.
No, this is just like side hustle. Yeah. But like I have a actual like business card. It's digital because it's just an email signature block thing, but it's like on brand and legit. So thank you very much. June 20th and 21st, State Convention Center. Come see my work because it's been a lot. But I was put into this position because I'm comfortable talking in front of people.
Mhm.
And the first year when it was Middletown Comic-Con, they were trying to do like a streaming thing and they couldn't get all that stuff figured out. And so the second year it was like, hey, we're not going to worry about that. But like, you're comfortable if we wanted to go there, like, can you host some of the panels? I was like, yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
And so that's what I did last year. And then after last year, it was like, hey, Tony, who is Mr. 5-star and does the whole thing, like 5-star is his character, all the things like 5-star LLC is his corporate, like legit IRS entity name. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say, but we were talking and he said, listen, I don't want this to just be a 1-day thing in one spot. I want to grow this. I want this to be bigger. I've got plans for what I want to be doing in 10 years that I can't get to unless in the next 2 years we do this, this, and this. And then 5 years after that, we're doing this, this, and that. And I need people that I know and trust and can lean into and let them go to be a part of this. Are you in? And I was like, bro, I'm so in. You can't get me out. Like, you can't kick me out anymore because I'm too far invested. Yes. Like, what do I need to do? And so that's how he put me into programming, because it was just kind of like you're already doing the panels. You are comfortable talking to anybody. You have no problem talking in front of people. Like, you do that on your show. It's just in front of live people and more people that you're talking to, but it's the same thing. And I was like, yeah, I'm comfortable with all of those things.
And then he said, people, you can feed off their energy and you can really get them going. And it's cool.
Yeah. I have too much theater kid still in me to not want to make dumb jokes. Like last year at the cosplay contest, I was using a drumstick because there was a drum set like on the stage. So I was using the drumstick as a microphone, like the old 70s long thing. And I'm using that. I'm like, people are like literally like leaning into it to talk into the drumstick. I'm like, this isn't actually picking up anyway, but yeah. And so towards the end of it, I was like, I don't know why I'm still using the shtick. Like, this is a running joke and I went to put it down. People were like, no,
right. You got to bring it back, even though you're not anywhere near probably a.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And so I like used it and went right back into the thing with it. But stuff like that is just me like playing and having fun. And he was like, those are the moments that I just need to let you go.
Yeah.
And so there's times regularly at my full-time job that I'm telling my boss, like, hey, you hired me to do this, so you don't have to anymore. Like, step back, get out of the way. Let me do this. Like, everything's fine. It's fine. So I love that can translate into making comics. And also like with Barricade Brigade, the script for that is very different than the script for the proposal. Cause there's literally like a double page spread that I wrote for Kay, and I didn't write anything other than music festival, have fun. And like, that's the direction, like we've talked about it. So he knows what's good, but like I don't care. Just have fun. Because I have learned through this show that my first script that I ever wrote was very descriptive, like
Mhm.
to the point that it would have been arresting the artist into no, don't do that because it has to be this view, it has to be this angle, it has to be this shot, this framing, that like everything was laid out. And I also had a very clear vision, which I've gotten better at not having a vision,
Yeah.
but I mean, with our story, it was like I have an idea for like the one panel where the big reveal,
Yeah.
and that's the one page layout I think that I was like, yeah, no, like it I need it to be this way. And
Sure.
then everything else, I was like, dude, you're the artist. Like, just here's the pieces to have fun with them.
Mhm.
So I will forever try and write that way if I know the artist. The script I wrote on Friday,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who the artist is going to be. Like, I'm getting
Sure.
paired.
Right.
And because I'm a writer, it's going into an anthology for a Kickstarter. And so the curator wanted the script early. So I
Okay.
was like, cool, got it. I'll send it to you. And he's like, all right, great. I'll take a look at it next week and get an artist paired up or whatever. And I was like, okay. But because I don't know who the artist is, I put a little bit more description
That makes
in
sense.
the scripts
Yeah.
because I don't even know that they're going to be like English is their native language. And
Right. You have no idea.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to hop on a FaceTime with them and be like, okay, so here's what I'm
Right. That's
thinking.
what I'm thinking about. Right. Yeah.
So it was like, I got to put everything that I need
Sure.
into
Yeah, like
the
your
script.
must-haves, like the things that you want to be seen to make sure that that story gets told in
Yeah.
your vision. Right, 100%. Yeah.
So have you, even though you've done artwork for other writers, have
Mhm.
you done writing for other artists?
Oh, no, because
Yeah.
I've always been the artist. I've never been the writer. Now, when I was a kid, wrote like short stories and stuff like that for school projects and things like that. And then that I was telling you my thesis for college, was a comic book. I wrote that. But yeah, I never really thought about writing, but then the story kept coming up in my head. And I've got notebooks on notebooks full of ideas, whether it's a mid-grade, graphic novel or a children's book or another comic thing or even a novel. Like an
Yeah.
actual prose novel. You have these ideas
Yeah.
and you get to a point where you're like, okay, I can't keep having really cool ideas while I'm working on somebody else's thing. Like, yes, it's fine to
Yeah.
do like a month or two to work on somebody else's stuff, but at the end of the day, you're like, I kind of want my idea to be out there. I want people to read my thing, whether they hate it or love it or just like don't care. Cool. I just want to put something out there in the world that I made.
Yeah. So let's talk about the novel, because when you're writing that,
Oh God, yeah, I know.
that's what I keep hearing from you is like, I gotta get another 10,000 pages down. Like, God. But so how do you manage? Because you're also working on Lost in the Shuffle 3.
Yes, which I just finished page 12. So I was at page 10. And then I had some people who had a small local comic book, Comic Con, like 2 weeks ago. They were like, okay, I've got 1 and 2, where's 3? And I'm like, I have a really stressful job and I come home every night and just want to crash on the couch and drool and maybe have like a glass of wine or some bourbon. So it's been slow. And then I did this horror anthology for a friend of mine. Don't know if you've heard of it, but it's really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to take a little time off. But yeah, I had this idea. I woke up in the morning and had this crazy dream, manic dream. And I was like,
Love
I
it.
got to write this down. And that's what I've done a couple times. I've had a dream and I'm like, let's just write this down so I don't forget about it and see what happens. And then 3 days later, I had written the synopsis. I had written the character profiles. I had come up with like a timeline. I had come up with like everything about this book other than like actually writing it. And so I let it sit there for, a good month or two. And I came back to it and I just, because I read a lot.
Yeah.
And they always say it's the same thing with comic books. Like you read comic books, so you're better at making comic books.
Yep.
You read novels, so you're better at making novels. And so, I just started writing it. I don't really know what I'm doing. I had a decent grades in English in high school and whatever, but like I'm doing it. And the first thing that they say is just to get the idea out of your head
Yeah.
onto paper and just power through it. But my problem is I'll write like 3 or 4 chapters and then I'll like go back and like, maybe I could make like more emotion there and like, ooh, maybe more action there. And like, ooh, let's tie that back to this. And then you got to make notes of like, okay, don't write yourself into, same thing with comic books.
Yeah.
If you have a 8-issue arc planned, the last thing you want to do is write yourself into a corner and then realize you have a plot hole that's like huge and somebody's going to call you out on it. So you have to make sure you. So yeah, I'm writing a novel. It's a YA fantasy novel.
Okay.
It's called Children of Cursed Kings. And it's one of 3.
Okay. Damn.
It's a very, I know, I'm an idiot. You're like, you moron.
Why would you do that?
Why would you do that? Because the first book that I have, the synopsis ends on a cliffhanger. And then you're like, well, clearly there's more to come. So I was like, well, crap, I gotta. So I have 2 more in my head, but the first one's like going along. I got like 30,000 words already. And, you know, you got to get to, I think it's like 80 to 100,000 or something like that for a YA book. But, you know, books are back, man. Like my wife's a big avid reader and books are huge and fantasy's big, but it's YA. So there's no like, you know, fairy smut or anything weird like that.
Yeah.
But it's a lot. It's daunting. And I get in these modes where it's like, okay, let's like draw and work on the comic. And then suddenly I'm like, I miss writing. But I actually don't really know what I'm doing. So I'm just trying to like get it out of my head first. And as I'm going, I'm learning how to write better. Yeah. So once I get a little bit further down the pipeline, I want to have some friends and buddies and people and family like read it just to make sure A, it doesn't suck ass, and B, that it like makes sense.
Yeah.
So, right.
Yeah. So I've read, I'm also surprised an avid reader. And I've read some books that spend a whole lot of time and detail and fleshing out like all of this one specific thing. And then it's just like them getting out of their house, right? Like, I got ready for bed and the brushes on the bristles on the toothbrush were, you know, this and it's the like Tolkien spending 4 pages to describe a field of flowers. Yeah. But then the thing, like the meat and potatoes of the story of like, no, it's actually about like an alien invasion.
Right.
And you're like, why did you spend 5 chapters leaving the house?
Right.
And then 2 on the alien?
That's the thing, is at the end of the day, if the characters are not interesting or you don't connect with their mission, their plight, their struggles, what have you, none of it matters. Like you could paint the picture, but I was doing the same thing because I was like writing a whole thing of like, okay, they live with the grandma, but like every time she looks around, there's memories of like her dad because her grandma has pictures of her dead dad everywhere. So and I'm like, don't really get into like the weird 1970s couch or the like wood everything. I was like, just what's the emotion behind it, and let the reader imagine what they think it might look like, because really the story is about the characters and what they're going through, and like hint at that. Like, you know, it's the whole thing of like, okay, I didn't even tell people what they really looked like. Like some of the characters you give like little, okay, this person's, you know, sarcastic and this person has this mentality and this person, but I think it was like the 4th or 5th chapter where I actually described like what the mom looks like. And you might, that's where you kind of go back and go, should I introduce them like more physical attributes earlier, or let the people kind of create what this is in their head? But then I don't want to pull a, you know, fast one on and be like, oh, by the way, she's black. And you're like, oh, the whole time I had her pictured as like, you know, white or Latin or Asian or something like that. So you just want to make sure, you know, you're giving enough, but not so much, because to me, I've read books like that where they're like, the person picked up the knife was shiny. The shiny knife goes into the, you know, like, I know what a knife looks like.
Yeah.
You know?
Got it. Thank you. Yeah. So how do you write a novel having also predominantly just been creating comics as an artist and doing all of the like full-time job stuff that you do of showing and not because you're not able to specifically tell. Like
when you're writing this, you're writing a script and you write the description of what goes in that panel. You're like, okay, here's page 5, here's panel 1 through whatever. And you're writing that and you put little notes. And then as I'm drawing it, because I'm writing and drawing it, then I add stuff in. Like just today, I was working on this one thing and I'm like, wait a minute. If I was these guys and I'm stupid and I'm at like a TJ Maxx, the person who's checking them out is pissed because they're a bunch of morons. They just got into like some shenanigans. So I'm like, oh, wait, like let's give her a frumpy face because she's mad at them. When you're writing the novel, it's like, okay, they might have said like 3 or 4 lines. And then there's like a paragraph or 2 of like internal monologue of like why they care and why they're doing this. And like, I'm looking at this person and they did that smirk with their face. And like, you just, it's weird, but it's fun to switch from, I'm not drawing this, but I have to write what the people are reading to paint a picture in their head, as opposed to the old man with the shotgun, pulls it out and tells them that they're not eating meat, but they're actually eating people. You're like, oh, okay, well,
great.
So it's just you're painting a picture with words, but at the same time, I don't want to give away too much because I want the people. Like when I read, if you tell me everything, then my imagination has nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So I want a little bit of that to paint the picture in my own head of like what that person looks like. Like when you're describing an alien, okay, great. Like tell me what the alien looks like, but like not every little detail. I want to have a little fun. So it's just a different, I don't know. It's like you flip a switch and you're like, okay, I guess we're writing tonight. And sometimes I put on music just to like switch myself out of a mode, especially if you're working like 8-10 hours a day and you come home and you're like, I have to write for an hour. Sometimes I can write like a page and I'm just like, F this, like I just have nothing left in me, like my soul is like a husk after the day that I had. But some days you're like, oh crap, it's 10 o'clock and I'm still writing. Yeah.
Oh, I tapped into that like hyper focus zone and just disappeared for 3 hours. Oh no. Tomorrow's gonna suck.
Right, you're like, oh, it's Monday.
Dang it.
So yeah, I mean I got some friends who, like, there's a guy that I know here in town who's written 2 novels and they're on Amazon, and so he wants to get together and like talk books and stuff like that. But there's also a group of, and I think you've met most of them, like 8 to 10 guys who live here in Pickerington who are all like comic book artists, and they get together, have coffee, and draw on a Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm at work.
Oh, I have a regular Monday through Friday job. Yeah. There's a couple groups like that I know of that are either like, if they're not here actually in Hamilton, there's one in Dayton, Kentucky, where Ink is the indie Northern Kentucky with Tom.
Yeah.
But he hosts stuff at the shop like Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday at like 5:30 or 5 o'clock. And I'm like, dude, I can't get there until probably 6:30 at the earliest. Do you have anything then? He's like, no, I got kids. I want to go home.
Right.
Like, oh, okay, fine.
Close up shop.
Yeah, but they just did a 24-hour comic event where similar to like a 48-hour film festival, where they had a bunch of creators sign up and paid some money and got some of the small businesses in the area to donate like coffee and donuts and hey, we'll stay open until midnight and we'll bake up a couple pizzas and you can come get some pizza at midnight. And then but yeah, they were there for 24 hours.
Wow.
And I was like, man, I would love to do that.
Yeah.
But it started at 8 a.m. on a Friday.
Oh. Right.
At 8 a.m. on Saturday. And I was like, I can't do that, man.
Like, you know Robbie, you met Robbie. He's he's helped with book 2 and hopefully with the next book, but he's that kind of guy who's like, oh yeah, I didn't realize it was 6 a.m, so I'm gonna go like get 2 hours of sleep and then get back up and then do work, and then he'll be up, like, oh, then I crashed at 7 o'clock, but then the next night I was up all night. I'm like, how? I'm not in college anymore. I can't pull all-nighters. No.
I don't have it that bad, but there have been nights this year that I'm like, it's 3 o'clock. I have to get up in 2.5 hours. Shit.
Right. And then you're like, let's stay up and regret it later, or do I take a nap?
Yeah. I have fully embraced nap life.
What's up for you?
I'm blaming, I hit 40 and now I take naps, but it's real. That's real.
Wait,
I napped today, actually. It was great. Yeah.
I can't nap. I've tried. I'm not a napper. I just been like, I got to get that like 6 to 8 hours of sleep at night, but coffee keeps me alive.
As you say. Oh yeah, I'm a heavy caffeinator.
Like too heavy, like
for
a problem, but yeah, right.
Yeah, like regular people are like, does your doctor know how much caffeine you drink? Like, actually, yes. I've had enough people concerned about the amount of caffeine that I'm drinking every day that I've talked to my doctor about it.
Yep. He told me 4 cups. He was like, well, are you having more than 4? And I said, oh yeah, I'm having like a pot a day. But he was like, okay, anything over 4 is probably concerning. I'm like, well, he was like, but everything seems to look good in your blood work. And I'm like, okay, great.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah. I was like, coffee for me just doesn't do it. Like, I need the carbonation. And even like drinking, that's why I love Liquid Death. Shout out to Liquid Death. It's carbonated water, right? And it tastes great.
Liquid Death, right? Yeah.
You can send me a case of Liquid Death and I will do this every single stream. Liquid Death. I'm just saying Liquid Death is so good. The cherry obituary that I'm currently drinking.
Right. You're like,
this has moved me away from soda. I don't drink soda anymore.
Oh, really?
Drink Liquid Death. Yeah.
Yeah. I just literally got Diet Coke right before I walked down here, and I brought a cup of coffee.
I mean, I still do energy drinks because
like,
that's what I need. That's it's funny looking at the progression of like, I used to think a Monster was going to get me all the things in junior high. And then through high school, I was like, that's not enough. And I went to Red Bull. And then in college, I was like, Red Bull, that's not enough. Give me 3 of them, please. And then afterwards, I was like, oh, well, now they have all these other options. Right. And so I'm not a human unless I have an Alani in the morning, which is 200 milligrams of caffeine. That's my like functioning, I'm still exhausted, but I'm moving.
Right, you're moving.
Amount. And some people, that sends them into a nervous wreck.
Like my wife was on the Alani train, but she realized it was giving her migraines because it's just too much. But my thing is, if there's music thumping, then watch out. And I'm sure. Do you know what's really interesting about us?
What's that?
We probably have very similar interests when it comes to music. And you know what we never talk about? Music.
Music? Isn't that weird?
A bunch of dorks.
You know, maybe we don't talk about music as much as comics, because music is a generational thing, and because you're so much older than I am.
Oh my ever-loving God! That
was so smooth.
I know, it was like right in there. Yeah.
No. Okay. So, what music? If you say Pearl Jam, I swear to God, I'm gonna punch you.
Creed fan. Nickelback and Creed, right? Like, no, I'm just joking.
Best bands in the world
ever.
With horns wide open.
Yeah.
Look at this photograph. Come to 5-star in June 20.
Butt rock all live long day. No, I was so mad. Okay, you want to hear a story?
Yeah, I would love to.
Okay, so a buddy of mine from work's like, listen, hey man, he texted me this past Wednesday and said, hey, I've got tickets to Taking Back Sunday. And he was like, they're yours. My whole family was going to go, but they're all sick, so we can't go. And I was like, oh my God, of course. And he said, they're actually like suite tickets. And I was like, oh. And I didn't see in the text that he said tonight. And I thought he said Thursday night. And it was, I think it was definitely Taking Back Sunday. And I swear to God, Saves the Day was opening for them.
That sounds right. Yeah.
The next morning, he was like, how was the show last night? And I was like, what? And he was like, the show. How's the show? I was like, it's Thursday. He goes, no, it was last night, man. I was so embarrassed, sad, angry, like all the emotions. It was like 7 stages of whatever to realize that I missed a free show here in Columbus.
Sweet.
Like, and I promised a buddy that I would put him a t-shirt, and so now he's like, what the hell? I think I'm gonna get those like iron-on like Cooper font and like make one that just says like Taking Back Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to like be funny. But
Do
that's
you have a Cricut? Because you could design like a really terrible one and just do the heat transfer.
no, but like we've talked about this before. Like, you know, I'm a big guy from a huge Cure fan, but like Social D just put out a new album, fantastic. I like just about all of it, but like seen Muse. We're going to see a show here. What, November, October? Yeah.
No, because it's right around Thanksgiving. Because my dedicated like concert date is going to be in Arizona for family Thanksgiving stuff. He was like,
Nice.
I'm not going to be back in time to go to the show. And I was like, it's fine. I'm gonna hang out with Alex. I was just offering to you too. And he was like, because he went with me to see the Dreadnoughts.
Yes.
With God, who all played that show? I can't remember anybody that was on that show. The Boy Detective.
Okay.
From Southwest Michigan.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It was I don't remember the opening band's name, but the guy had one of those Celtic horns that he opened 2 Miller Lights and poured into, and then drank out of the horn while they were playing. And I was like, "You're so awesome!" It was so he had like a holster for it and everything. It was wild.
I mean, as one does, you know, if you're going to have a horn to pour beer into, you have to have a holster.
Yeah.
Handcrafted at like a Ren fair someplace, like
out
leather.
Yeah. All the stamping and the like accented burns around. Oh yeah.
Well,
just like
we were talking about that, like, you know, a lot of the book that I'm writing has a lot of like old runes and Gaelic stuff and very like Scottish and Irish and like folklore, but like, you know, I love bands that have incorporated that kind of stuff in, especially like Norwegian and Scandinavian metal bands where they're just like, we're Vikings.
Their songs are about like pillaging villages and sinking ships. Like Viking metal is its own
genre
thing,
sub genre. Yeah,
love it.
There's a new group that I just found that like they're British and they have taken like elements of Beastie Boys mixed with like 80s madness ska mixed with like punk licks, and I'm just like, the guy wears like a mask and the other 2 guys in the band have like black hoods over their faces. I'm just like, I'm so here for this. I'll send it to you, but like
please do.
I think you and I have very similar tastes, but we're just like all over the place.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Because I also listened to the Social D album when it came out, and I was like, yep, still got it. Like,
even after throat cancer.
That's the crazy thing. Like,
he had throat cancer. Mike had throat cancer.
Yep. Still doing it.
Yep.
Still had a new album.
I know. So good.
Okay.
When I was at that local Comic-Con, this guy walks up and he had a shirt of the new album. I was just like, come here. Get over here right now. And I was like, yeah. It's just funny because when you see somebody that has a shirt on, you're just like, oh yeah, okay. We're like, if somebody walked up to me at a show and they had a vest on that was covered in band, you know, paraphernalia and nerd paraphernalia, I'm like, I don't know who you are, but I already like you, and we're gonna be friends now because like I see Skeletor, and then I see like, you know, some band that I like, and then I see a
it's a very intentional choice to wear this to shows because
it's a conversation starter.
It is like it's a conversation piece, and I have had those moments with other vendors of like, I'll walk up and they've got a vest, and if a vendor's wearing a vest, I'm like, I'm gonna stop and talk to you,
of course.
And so that's what I do. And shout out to Kyle Rise in Detroit, because we had the same experience where he had a black one on and I had this one, and I was like, mad love for the vest. He was like, no, I've been trying to look at yours every time I see, because he was on like a corner booth
following you, like looking behind you.
He was like, I keep hoping that you're going to come down the aisle so I can stop you and look, because every time I'm like, there he goes again.
Yeah.
It just was,
you can't see all this stuff, but I got a Cure thing over there. I got the Gaslight Anthem right there. I got a poster from when Not a Surf came through town. I've got lyrics from like an old Blink 182 song on a thing back there.
Yeah, you do.
Pete Yorn just came through again, and my wife got our song by Pete Yorn. He autographed like the lyric sheet,
Oh,
for the
cool.
whole thing, and it's just like, yeah, like live music, man.
It's the best.
It's the best.
I'm so stoked to see Streetlight in November.
I know, right? It's gonna be so much fun. I just got a text last week from Sean, of all things, and he was like, "Hey, we're gonna go see." I don't think it was Bouncing Souls, but something like that down in North Carolina. It was like, you and Holly want to like come down and like spend the weekend and just like go to a show. I'm like, I do.
Yes. Please. Yeah. I mean, I took my concert date, Corey. We flew out to Montana, stayed with my sister, and saw Flogging Molly and the Interrupters and Tiger Army, even though I saw them here in Cincinnati with my wife. But the Interrupters had COVID, so they missed our stop.
Yeah, I would say Interrupters. I gotta see Interrupters.
Yeah. Oh God, it was so much fun. And like it was an outdoor venue, and they were trying to be like Red Rock in Colorado, where it had like at the base right behind the stage is a river, and the mountains on the other side of the river. So you're surrounded by all of the just like insane beauty of Montana.
Nature, right? Yeah.
And then in the middle of it is this like just fun
band.
Yeah, and it was the coolest. It was so good, and it was fire season. So if you ever need inspiration for like a dystopian nuclear fallout, what would that look like? Go to Montana during fire season, because everything is just hazy and orange.
Oh wow. And
like some days it's worse than others.
Like, am I on Mars?
Yeah. Like we were driving from Missoula down, I think that's 27. She lives like 45 minutes south of Missoula.
Okay.
And so we were driving down the highway that they have.
Right.
And it like there were some towns that were closer to the base of the mountains than others. And the ones that were closer were foggier, smoggier, and harder to see.
Right.
And it was like fog on steroids.
Fog on fog.
It was like they doubled the contrast on it was it really was eerie. And in the mornings when it was cooler, it was less foggy. And then as it got hotter, the top temperature was like 74. And I was like, this is hot. What are you doing? But then the lows overnight were like 30. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not sleeping outside. Got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just the weirdest thing. And my buddy was like, this is so cool. And she was like, no, you have to come back when it's not fire season, because you can't even see half the mountains that we have.
Right. Because it's beautiful. Like you just look out and you're like, what? Is this a picture? What am I looking at?
Yeah. Anyway, no, I'm super jazzed about Streetlight, because oh God. And I'm going to wear the vest, and I have a feeling I'm going to dance my way out of another. I lost a pin at the Dreadnought show.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
And I almost lost my watch because the clasp thing broke.
Yeah.
And so like middle of one of the songs, the guy was like,
right, whose watch?
And I was like, oh my God, that's my watch. No idea that it was even off. I had no idea.
Flying, enjoy.
Yeah.
Joyous flying, flailing about.
Danced it right off. I don't know. So it's I'm gonna get stupid because I can't wait. It's gonna be, and then I gotta drive home. And isn't it on a Sunday night? Like we gotta go back to work on Monday. Yeah.
It's worth it.
I'm gonna take that Monday off. That's what's gonna I'm 40 now. I don't you remember 40, right? I'm
still in my 40s. The other side.
Yeah, I just, I like poking fun at old people. So
I love how I'm old.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're old.
Yeah, you're old. V is old. K is old. K just turned 44. So, there's that. Even though we were born in the same decade, doesn't matter.
Totally. Yep. I get
so much older.
Yep.
So Lost in the Shuffle, we did the novel. We did
anything.
We did
5-star.
We did 5-Star Comic-Con. Tickets are available, 5starcomiccon.com or at the gate, but like buy them early so that
Primarily.
we feel a little bit more confident. I'm hopefully anxious is what I am. I really want there to be a ton of people. And the few times I've heard numbers about tickets, it doesn't sound like we're going to have a ton of people. And that makes me nervous because I want it to be successful because this is kind of a make or break year. So we need people to show up. So, if you want to come.
Yep,
It's super cheap. 2 days. You can come one day. You don't have to come both days.
Right. It's Father's Day weekend. My wife's already miffed about that. So, hey, come out. Come one day. Spend the other day with, a dad or a dad figure. It's fine.
Yeah. My daughter was like, hey, for Father's Day, we doing lunch with Poppy again? And I was like, actually, no. I'll be working at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
So
my wife was like, you signed up for what? When? I'm like,
it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great. Yeah, bring your dad or your dad favorite. We're gonna have pro wrestling,
right?
Both days.
Dracula's gonna be playing one night, right?
No, we had to cancel that.
Oh,
yeah, that was real upsetting. They're gonna have a table. I was at least able to set them up at the table, I think, in the lobby. So like as people are walking in, and I was like,
right.
Yeah, like literally he's in my phone as Dracula. The band is Dracmina. They are a local horror punk rock band based out of Dayton, Ohio. And it is Dracula and his wives and a drummer. And it's they were fully in the full garb. He dresses up, has a badass giant black mohawk, and just is the coolest dude. And so the convention center, I'll tell you more offline, but the convention center basically was like, you can't have a concert here.
Oh.
And unless you pay all this money. And we were like, we don't have all that money. Right. So shoot. So we had to cancel the after party.
Okay.
And we weren't, because it was so close, we weren't able to find like a backup venue to go to.
Right, like a bar afterwards. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But I think we're still going to do that. At least a small group of us for another like drink and draw type. Let's just hang out. Cool. Yeah. Nothing formal. I'm speaking into existence now because I'm the assistant to the program director. So I can make these decisions.
Right. Put out in the universe.
Yeah. And that's another thing that I want to get to be like every quarter we do another drink and draw thing. And it's different artists or vendors that we've had at 5-Star, and we just get together as a community because cons are so great. Why do we need to limit it to once a year?
I know, right?
Yeah. So to kind of bridge that gap, I want to start doing drink and draws, and that gives me an excuse to talk to more local breweries and get to know them. And I've already talked to a couple, and the two that I had serious conversations with were both like, yeah, just let us know when.
Oh, sweet.
And we'll test run it. We'll see how it goes, and we'll figure out plan going forward if it's super successful and a ton of people show up. And if it doesn't, whatever, like we can figure that out too. So, but yeah, it's working with small businesses, doing small events that we care about for people. Like that's whatever that's called. That's what I love to do.
Community. I think it's community.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
I think you're onto something there.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe by next weekend we'll have it figured out, and you can just ask us at 5-Star. I don't have any proper official things left, so that means that we have the two things left to do. The bonus time.
Bonus round.
The bonus round. This is the encore. Oh my God! Why didn't I think of that sooner? This is time for the encore. First is we're going to take a picture. Well, I'm going to take a screenshot. So we'll pose. I'll get some props in because I like using props. I want to make it make sense.
Props are the best.
Now it's like the DVD thing. There's the framing. Okay. Let me get this. Here's the shortcut. And we'll go in 3, 2, 1. Great. the second song of the encore, God, I'm using that forever now. Is because I have to brand everything. Is I love doing the show because yes, you live less than 2 hours from me, but not everybody that I talk to does. And
True.
they're not always located on the continental US and like literally all over the globe except for Africa. I need to get somebody from Africa on the show so I can check off that continent. So if you know anybody, send them my way. But I love talking to people on the show and doing the show. A, because I love comics and I could talk about them all the time, and music and all the things and just have fun and geek out. But also because in a society that tells us that everybody's different and we have to be different, and if you're different, you're the enemy, I like to say the opposite, because what's more punk than that? And we're all the same here on Longbox Punk, and we all love comics and we all love music and we all love creating and telling stories and making art. And so to lean into that, I like to turn over the mic to every creator that I have on at the end of the show to basically just share whatever message you want to share. It could be, excuse me, it could be a sales pitch.
Okay.
For Lost in the Shuffle 3 that's coming at some point in some month in the near or far future. It could be something completely opposite, like never work with me because I don't give nearly enough detail in my comic scripts. I don't care about the content. I just want to make sure that you can share whatever message you have for people that are listening or watching. So take it away.
Okay. Well, as you know, I believe that children are our future. Teach them well, let them lead the way. No, I'm just joking. I'm just Whitney Houston at that point in time. Thank you for having me. I mean, you know, I got a lot of stuff going on, but Lost in the Shuffle #3 is coming out. I don't know when I got to do it. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, I'll be at 5-Star Comic-Con this coming weekend. I'll have lots of prints, posters, comics, sketch cards, all kinds of stuff. So please check it out at table blah, 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 because I have no idea where I'm going to be. But yeah, no, Chris, you know, love you like a brother. So thank you for having me. And we're going to have to do this again real soon. And if I had known that I could have just like scheduled this on my own, like a year ago, I would have done it. I thought you were going to like invite me like in some grandiose manner. It's like,
oh yeah, no, I'm not at all that formal. No, I think I've, in the history, this is in the 3rd year in the history of doing the show, I have actually reached out to and invited 3 people. And those were all the first year that I did it. And those were all creators that I had backed projects on Kickstarter.
nice.
And I was like, hey, I'm doing this thing. I like your book. Do you want to come talk about it on my show or something?
Yeah.
And now it's the opposite, where I have so many people reaching out to me that they're like, hey, I'm launching a Kickstarter next month. And I'm like, hey, I'm already booked into September.
Exactly.
So, yeah, but to be fair, not everybody knows that that's how that works. And somebody reached out to me like, hey, when are we going to make time to get me on your show? And I'm like, are you kidding? Like, here's my link. You want to be on my show? And that person is going to be on in 2 weeks.
Oh, sweet.
So a little teaser. I'm not going to say their name. I don't know why I'm not going to say their name, but I'm not going to say their name. It builds the anticipation.
We're just now excited. We're just really, really interested.
So next week is the con, and then a week from that, which would be the 28th of June, I have like 9 of this person's books. So
okay.
And they reached out to me and it blew my mind. So awesome. That's coming at the end of this month, and I'm excited about it. And I never talk about future people, but like,
this is a big one.
This is kind of a big deal. There's only one other person that could possibly, it's never going to happen, but there's only one other person that would reach out and say, hey, I want to be on your show. And I would lose my mind.
Like, I just peed myself a little.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't have a list. And I say this all the time, and now it makes it sound like I had a list. I've never had a list of like, I'm going to make this show and do this so that I can get these people on. The list instead is, if I, in some insane universe, had the attention of these 3 creators, and had them on my show so I could talk to them.
Yeah.
Great, done.
Right. You could die a happy man. Right.
And by the end of June, I will have had 2 of those 3 people on my show.
The third one. You'll have to tell me who the third one is this coming weekend, and that will be a campaign of getting them on your show.
Yeah, it'll be. They're hard to reach. I've tried.
It's all right.
We'll see.
We'll figure it
We'll
out.
see. Alex, dude, it's always good to hang out with you.
Man.
And Chad, I'm really looking forward to next weekend. Are you coming down Friday, or are you going to drive down Saturday morning?
Friday. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you sound like you have a lot going on Friday, but yeah.
I'm trying to.
You're booked.
Leave my evening open because Kay will be in, Vaughn will be in. Now I know you'll be in.
Nice.
The whole Vaughn family, he's bringing his whole family with him.
Oh, really? That's
and I'm like, bro, you're coming to Ohio? Like Dayton, Ohio? I hope they're not expecting much.
Right?
I mean, I guess you'd go to
Dayton. Yeah.
Dayton? Downtown smells weird.
Oh, the Flyers. Yeah.
But yeah. Whatever. But I would love to do something Friday if we can. So hang tight. I've just realized we're still streaming, and this isn't just us hanging out after. So thanks for tuning in to the 2 of us just talking and
just rambling.
Just be pals. This has just been bro time here on Long Box Punk. And so I'm going to dismiss you by telling you go do what's good for you and make your art because I want to see it. We're out of here.